Imagine a world in which all children grow up with a deep understanding of the life around them, where all of us know the animals and the plants of our own backyards, as well as we know the televised Amazon rainforest, or better. Where the more high-tech our lives become, the more we experience nature in our lives. Where we come to all of our senses, all of them, including our sense of humility. Where we feel more alive. We seek a newer world where we not only conserve nature, but create it, where we live, work, learn, and play. Where yards and open spaces are alive with native species, where bird migration routes are healed by human care, where wildlife corridors in every city serve as the bronchial and arterial passageways of life and meaning. Where not only public land, but private property voluntarily, garden to garden to yard is transformed by us into butterfly zones and then across the country into a homegrown national park. Where neighbors use land trust law to create their own button parks small enough to sew on themselves. Where cities become incubators of biodiversity. Where pediatricians and other health professionals prescribe nature, and this is already happening. Where park rangers become para-health professionals, where antidepressants and pharmaceuticals are prescribed less and nature prescribed more, where hospitals and prisons offer gardens that heal, where nearby nature provides healing and reduces stress, where obesity of children and adults is reduced through nature play. A world where restorative cities produce their own energy and much of their own food, where empty lots become community gardens, where skyscrapers become vertical farms with spirals and decks and roofs that reduce stress even as they produce food. Where biophilic design transforms green architecture and urban design, including but moving beyond the goal of conserving energy and toward producing human energy. Where developers not only build new neighborhoods that incorporate nature, but even more important, redevelop decaying inner-city neighborhoods and suburbs and redundant, aging shopping malls, where these are transformed into eco-villages that not only provide more natural habitat, green roofs and button parks and wildlife corridors, but also support higher human populations than today's suburbs, where neighborhoods are no longer surrounded by walls to keep people out, but by orchards for children to harvest. Imagine a world in which small towns, now deserted across the Great Plains, return in new form, internet-connected, surrounded by organic farms, edible prairies, and beauty. Where streams and cities and countryside are restored, unearthed to the daylight, their natural curves and life return. A newer world where the point of education is not rote and drill, but wonder and awe. Where schools use the power of the natural world to stimulate learning and creativity, where every school has a natural space where children experience the joy of learning through play once again, where teachers are encouraged to take their students on field trips to the nearby woods and canyons and streams and shores, where educators feel their own sense of hope and excitement returning to their profession and to their hearts. Where connecting people to nature becomes a growth industry. Where new businesses emerge to help us transform our homes, our workplaces, our lives through nature. Where the restorative and healing powers of the natural world and the worth of watersheds and natural systems are included in every regional economic study. Where natural history becomes as important as human history to who we are, where history is defined less by the battles of war and more by the stories of our kinship. A newer world where children experience the joy of being in nature before they learn of its loss, where they can lie in the grass on a hillside for hours and watch clouds become the faces of the future, where human nature's social capital enriches our daily lives, and where as a species we no longer feel so alone. Where every child and every adult has a human right to a connection to the natural world and shares the responsibility for caring for it. Where every human regardless of race or economic status or gender or sexual identity, has the opportunity to help create that world. Imagine a world where the strength of our spirit is not measured by the specificity of our language, but by the care and kinship we share with each other and with our fellow species on this earth. A world in which our last days are lived in the arms of Mother Nature, of land and sky, water and soil, wind and sea, a newer world we seek and to which we return.